6 celebrity women, including Gayle King, Katy Perry, and Lauren Sanchez, who is the plastic fiance of Jeff Bezos, took a Blue Origin rocket into space on a trip that lasted from takeoff to touchdown less than 12 minutes in total.
Well, this voyage lasted 11 minutes.
It was very profound. I don't know if you've seen Katy Perry talk about it, but she's basically a guru now.
Yeah. What were her findings? That's my question.
Well,
what
she
did she learn?
Daisy, which is super important. It shows you how quick the flight was. The dead daisy that's like snipped from its life source was still alive or still vibrant.
Yeah, and it's always
Shut it, Daisy.
Wow.
Oh my God, you guys, look, we're seeing the moon. Like, guess what? We all see the moon just fine down here. Have you seen the moonrise? Great.
Who is it? Katy Perry? I didn't even know she was still relevant.
Right, it's so amazing. Like, they went to see space. We're supposed to see them, right? Like, they admired the universe, and what they were expecting was for us to admire the fact that they were rich enough and famous enough to have been granted this utterly vacuous experience from which they learned absolutely nothing.
Hollywood has really outdone itself this time, everyone. They've managed to create what might just be the world's most expensive selfie stick. And if that opening doesn't grab your attention harder than a publicist yanking down an embarrassing tweet, buckle up. It gets even wilder.
So they go up there and they float for like 10 minutes?
At least.
And then they come down.
Let's not minimize this.
No, I know. It's a big deal.
Let's celebrate female astronauts.
And because they were united.
I know some people are gonna disagree with me here, but 11 minutes really isn't that long, and you really can't accomplish that much in 11 minutes.
Katy Perry, Gayle King, and Lauren Sanchez just shot into the upper layers of the sky. Yes, seriously, all thanks to Jeff Bezos and his shiny, sky-piercing rocket that looks suspiciously like a midlife crisis on full display. Meanwhile, TV news outlets couldn't stop gushing about how this was the first all-female space crew, conveniently forgetting that legends like Sally Ride, Mae Jemison, and hundreds of brilliant female engineers and scientists have already been there, done that, and for much more meaningful reasons.
I have no doubt that it was a cool experience. It was not historic or significant in any way, but it was still, I'm sure, cool. More than cool, it must have been profound and quite moving. It's a shame then that it was wasted on a woman with the wisdom and intellectual depth of a newborn poodle.
Just so ridiculous the way some of the media were covering it, the way they were like self-congratulatory. They've gone.
Now picture it. 6 celebrities, 0 astronaut training, and 1 very awkwardly shaped rocket painted in Amazon Prime blue. It blasted off a dusty pad in West Texas for a trip that lasted less time than your wait at a crowded fast food drive-thru. Still, it was loudly marketed as a major moment for women everywhere, because apparently, decades of real scientists working for months under bone-crushing microgravity weren't enough. Nope, real progress apparently happened when Katy Perry floated around for 4 minutes and declared she was reborn, like a cosmic butterfly fluttering out of a jewel-encrusted cocoon. She even babbled about a daisy that survived in zero gravity, as if it were a sacred sign from the universe.
Katy Perry, in other words, had certainly set the bar high for herself. She was so insufferably stupid and ditzy before the flight that everybody wondered if she could come up with anything even dumber when she landed.
Katy Perry went up to the space yesterday and she spent no more than 4 minutes of intense pleasure up there. Came back and talked about how much in love she was with it, how amazing it all was. And she's talking as if she's Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin, you know, landing on the moon, first people planting a flag. She was in space for 4 minutes. She's got longer songs than that.
Still, instead of just being a flower that got plucked from its pot and floated around a metal capsule, as mainstream media drooled out articles filled with glittery talk about female empowerment, podcaster Joe Rogan cracked a joke that went viral faster than a TikTok dance challenge. He joked he might open the hatch if Katy started singing Firework mid-flight. Naturally, this set off an outrage cycle that moved faster than you can say cancel culture. But behind all the memes and hot takes was a bigger question. When did a glorified 10-minute joyride turn into the modern equivalent of landing on the moon? And more importantly, why are we all clapping like trained seals instead of giving this side-eye like it deserves?
5 women went up into space, right? Jeff Bezos, the man who paid for it all, sent his wife up, which tells you something about their marriage, doesn't it? I think he was hoping she wouldn't come back.
I had to come back. I mean, we're getting married. If I didn't come back, that would be a bummer for me.
Let's be honest. This wasn't a serious mission. It was a rich person's amusement park ride where a billionaire's fiancé and a few of her celebrity friends got to pretend to be astronauts, while real science programs struggled just to get enough funding to replace broken microscopes. Yet the cameras kept rolling. The capsule drifted back down, and before you could finish a single episode of your favorite sitcom, our heroines returned to Earth, spilling out all kinds of Instagram-ready deep thoughts.
Has shot a bunch of women tourists who are totally unqualified to be astronauts in a remotely controlled spaceship for 10 minutes into orbit. How insufferable, all the feminists aboard? How much do we not want this rocket to return to Earth?
I felt universally connected to love, Katy cooed, her sincerity so thick. You could probably use it to plaster a studio wall. Never mind the fact that real astronauts spend 6 months in space and then need just as long to recover their muscle and bone strength. These ladies landed, slipped into flawless designer jumpsuits, and posed for glamorous photo ops, declaring that history had been made, girl power was on the rise, and haters were officially silenced. But here I am, the wet blanket, reminding you that the only real record they broke was the one for the world's shortest zero-gravity influencer collaboration.
It's women who are behind the scenes at NASA and contributed to the space program. Okay, that I get. What did these women do? Like, honestly, one is sleeping with a billionaire who created this program and is jetting people, to outer space for like 10 minutes, for as long as like your average YouTube video takes.
Meanwhile, real scientists who dedicate their lives to unraveling the mysteries of the universe barely get noticed because they don't have pop singles or red carpet stylists. And if that doesn't make your blood pressure tick up a little, consider this. Each seat on that quick rocket ride cost several $1 million. That kind of money could fund countless scholarships, support years of serious space research, or, at the very least, buy enough lab equipment so every 8th grader in America could stop sharing a single scratched-up microscope. But no. We spent it so a morning show host could tweet about her new perspective. Naturally, tabloids needed a villain for the story. They quickly framed Rogan's joke as misogynistic, neatly ignoring the fact that he has roasted every space tourist, male or female, who's paid millions for a quick selfie with the most stars.
It was flat but quiet. Like these profundities, Walter. Buckle up.
It's absolutely insane. I don't know if it's just woman cringe, Hollywood cringe, or elitist billionaire privilege cringe, but it's absolutely insane.
But controversy drives clicks, and clicks drive ad money, and ad money fuels the exact same media machine that built this whole event up as some world-changing milestone. It's a never-ending loop of self-congratulation and short-term memory loss. And just when you thought this circus couldn't get any more bloated, Oprah announced a special sit-down interview about women reaching for the stars, practically guaranteeing at least one dramatic, tear-filled close-up shot. Meanwhile, insiders at Blue Origin, Bezos' space company, are reportedly already lining up more celebrities for the next trip. Somewhere right now, an intern is probably working overtime designing t-shirts that say something like, "I left Earth for 10 minutes and all I got was this life-changing experience." Because nothing screams progress louder than selling merch. About your spiritual awakening. Now, before you accuse me of being a joyless cynic, let me say this. Sure, inspiration matters. Kids seeing people fly into space might dream bigger, but inspiration without real substance, that's like cotton candy. Sweet, fluffy, and gone before you even know you had it.
I had Commander Chris Hadfield on, and he was at one point in time the longest person that had been in space from, wasn't he? It's like he was there for like 6 months. And he was saying it was unbelievable, like how difficult it was to recover once you get back to Earth. He couldn't walk. It was just like a total vertigo. Like his whole body was like so not used to gravity. All of his bones were weak. All of his muscles were weak.
But these just seem fine, these ladies.
Well, for now.
Let's
not minimize. Let's not minimize the sacrifice they made for
it's
a great
huge.
nation.
It was
for the
a big
world,
deal.
In fact. For
Yeah.
the world. They're
To show
profoundly
people.
different. They're profoundly different now.
To show people. What's inspiring?
Real science is not glamorous. It's slow, painstaking, often invisible. Work, far from champagne toasts and red carpet interviews. The better lesson for future astronauts isn't that space is for celebrities with a few $1 million to spare. It's that grit, perseverance and curiosity, not glamour, are what truly get you to the stars. But, of course, that message doesn't sell headlines, so the major news outlets kept chanting historic. Katy kept preaching her newfound cosmic wisdom to her millions of fans, and Jeff Bezos kept polishing his public image with each glittery launch, while people like me sat here with our popcorn and laptops, doing the unglamorous work of pointing out that calling out nonsense doesn't make you anti-woman, anti-progress, or anti-fun. It just means you're allergic to being fooled. Speaking of which, take a second and tell me in the comments, would you hop on a billionaire's rocket ship for a 10-minute joyride if you got the chance? Or would you rather find your spiritual enlightenment right here on Earth? Also, your comments help keep the caffeine flowing, so thanks in advance. But the story doesn't end there. Oh no, after giving us their emotional space sermons, the celebrity crew pivoted hard into environmentalism. They praised the thin blue line of Earth's atmosphere, as if no astronaut in history had ever noticed it before. Of course, they skipped over the awkward detail that every one of these rocket launches burns more carbon emissions than your uncle's pickup truck does in a lifetime. But Hollywood wears hypocrisy like it's the hottest new fashion accessory. Just a few spritzes of sanctimony to cover up the smell of overindulgence, and voila! Another PR win. Naturally, publicists spun it all as starting important conversations instead of admitting it looked a lot like good old-fashioned contradiction. Proof, once again, that if you dress up a nothing burger in enough flowery language, people will still eat it and call it gourmet. Meanwhile, loyal fans rush to defend their idols, because these days, being a fan is like belonging to a religion, and questioning the sacred is treated like heresy. Still, the numbers tell the real story. The clips of Rogan cracking jokes outperformed the solemn, serious space sermons by a mile. People crave authenticity, or at least some unfiltered sarcasm, far more than they crave scripted speeches about finding yourself among the stars. And that's exactly why we're here today, handing out roast beef instead of cotton candy. While this media frenzy spins on, real female astronauts are quietly preparing for 6-month missions aboard the International Space Station. They'll be studying new radiation shields, experimenting with growing protein crystals, and testing human endurance in deep space. Real work, real risks, and real results, all of which will get a fraction of the attention lavished on an 11-minute influencer. Field trip. That imbalance says everything about our times. Genuine achievements sink into the background, while flashy surface-level stunts float right to the top of the newsfeed, and the richest man in the world can buy headlines just as easily as he buys rocket fuel. Now, days later, that capsule sits parked in a hangar somewhere, getting polished up for the next batch of celebrity passengers. Meanwhile, critics and pundits argue whether taking selfies in space somehow cheapens the legacy of real exploration. And your humble narrator? I'm just sitting back with a bucket of popcorn, marveling at how fast society swapped wonder for irony. So, let's raise a glass to the brave new world we live in, where anyone with enough fame or cash can slap on a spacesuit faster than ordering a venti latte, where empowerment is measured in likes and retweets, and where every overpriced cosmic joyride gets wrapped up in just enough virtue signaling to feel important. Cheers to the spectacle. Folks, may the memes always be in your favor. And if you enjoyed this slightly salty ride through Hollywood's latest glitter-dusted meltdown, hit that subscribe button faster than Katy Perry found universal love at zero gravity. Because trust me, Hollywood isn't slowing down, and neither are we.